Alright, so in the last video we have learned about the inline styles. Now we will be learning about the internal styles. So to do so, what I can do, I can just get rid of all of the inline styles from my website. Okay, and now, yep. Now, what we can do to use internal styles, what we have to do basically inside of the head element, we can go just before the title. Positioning doesn't matter that much. So do style, and we can open the style tags here. And inside of that, we cannot write any sort of HTML here. Like if I want to do something like H1 or do something like H1, and VS Code is now confused because VS Code is expecting us to write CSS code inside of this style tags. Okay, so we cannot write HTML. So just getting rid of that. And now what we can do to mimic the same feature as previous, so we have to select that particular element, right? This H1 for example, and I want to change the color to, for example, blue, because it was purple. Now I want to change it to blue. How I can do that? Inside of this style tags, I can do H1 and I can open curly braces to select that H1 tag. So what I am saying here, like, hey, CSS, just get all of the H1 tags inside of my website, which is currently we have only one. And then whatever I will be writing here, apply that. So I can do color and then do blue. Okay, and hit save. Now if I go to the browser, as you can see, our this particular H1 is now blue. Awesome. Now if I go back here again, once again, this paragraph are currently black, which is the default color. I want to change it to something like green. Okay, so how I can do that? Now I can do P, and then inside of that I can do color of green. Okay, now if I do that and go to the browser, as you can see here, the color of all of the paragraph element is now green, which is a bit improvement than the inline styles. By using internal styles, you can select every paragraph, or as a matter of fact, every tag which you want, and then apply the styles, and those styles will be applied throughout the web page. But now here is a drawback. For example, what we have here, we have this index.html file, right? Now let's create another one, about.html, something like this. Do exclamation and do tab, do about. Okay, let me just scroll back, and here do H1 about us or something like that. Okay, and then we will have the P tag and do lorem. Okay, so this is our basic about page. Now what will happen when we go to this about page? Let's go to that. So let's just go to the browser. Here our H1 inside of the index page is blue and the paragraph is green. Now if I go to about, our styles are now gone. Why is that? Because inside of this about page, we do not have included this style tag, right? This style tag here. So I will just copy that and then I will paste just above the title. Okay, and now if I just do this and go to the browser, now our H1 is blue and our paragraph is green. Again, you can see another drawback of this, because if we have multiple pages, With this method, we have to copy paste all of the styles which are common between two pages again and again and again, which is not like feasible. And once again, if we want to change the color of this H1 to something like violet, again, if I go to the browser, now this is violet inside of the about, but if I go to the index, once again, this H1 is still blue. So I have to go to the code editor and then once again I have to change here. Okay. So this is one improvement over inline styles, but again, internal styles has its flaw as well. So this is basically how we can write internal styles. And don't worry about this structure of the CSS. We will discuss everything in detail in the upcoming videos. All right, so next up, the external styles.